IPCC report has been discussed in this edition of Down to Earth. So to begin with, let's understand the very first concept about the various aspects related to the environment. So the thing here is, be it the oceans or the forest or the land, they together absorb nearly 50% of the carbon emissions that are released. Now if we talk about the carbon dioxide polluters worldwide, India is the third biggest polluter, and if we consider EU together, the European Union, 27 nations together, India becomes the fourth largest producer of the carbon dioxide emissions. Now between 1870 to 2019, we have seen that our CO2 budget was around 3%. However, the emissions were around 2.6 gigatons annually. Now, if we focus on a net zero plan which has been propounded by countries like US, which targets for 2050, China, which targets for 2060, the idea is to develop technologies which can actually capture carbon emissions. Now if this can be brought into account, India can also be in line of net zero emitters. Now the increasing emissions from China has been registered from 10 gigatons to 12 gigatons has been registered. And what has been the impact globally of this changing amount of carbon emissions across the globe? So we have higher amount of climate change that is attributed to sudden and extreme rainfall, extreme cloudburst, floods which can be seen. We have housing that needs to be reformed in light of the thermal comfort which can be provided to individuals. So 2021 report has been brought by IPCC, which is the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, and this is known as the sixth assessment report, the physical science basis. Now here, if we look on globally, we can see the economic cost for America is much higher in comparison to the people which are affected. However, in Asia, the proportion of people affected are highest, but the economic cost is very, very low. So this shows how globally there has been a gap between the developing and the developed nations. It is believed that in next few 20 years, the temperature would rise by 1.5 degrees Celsius, which is higher as per the pre-industrial level, again a matter of concern. Now from 2011 to 2020, we have seen that the annual increase in the Arctic sea ice flow has reached its lowest level since 1850. So there has been a reduction in the Arctic ice which has been registered in the last century, in this century, okay, in this decade, sorry. So in the past decade, we have registered a significant drop in the ice accumulation in the Arctic areas. Even if we talk about regions in India, let's focus on the region of Assam. Now Assam, a lot of areas, for example, the Golaghat district. Now Golaghat district was known for the Doyang river which flows and joins with the Brahmaputra. It has been registered that last 30 years the river is not receiving apt amount of water. Similarly, the Kumatia river, there has been drastic environmental changes which have resulted in changing the course of the river, and also the Masdhiri village which is located on the Kumatia river is again in threat because there has been erratic monsoons, changing unpredictable monsoons. A lot of coral bleaching activities have been witnessed due to rising temperatures, higher salinity. The flood areas are now not that fertile. The fertile farming which was seen in the areas of Assam, the flooded areas of Karunpulli, are now turning into desert areas. So a lot of change has been witnessed specifically in the northeast India, which has affected the global patterns, we can say. Not only in India but across the globe we have seen such changing phenomena. Similarly, Inuits who are native to Arctic say that the Arctic ice is the barometer for the rest of the planet. Now it's a cooling system and an air conditioner for the planet, and we, the people of Arctic, can feel the sense of how the things have been rapidly changing. Now this is one of the things that have come out from the Inuits living living in the Arctic region. Now, if we focus on the intensification of rain, it is believed that with 1 degree rise in temperature, nearly 7% increase in rainfall has been registered. So, rainfall has been globally increasing since 1950s, but since 1980s, it is increasing at a much faster pace. However, at the same time, the hotter periods are increasing. For example, 2020 was the second highest hottest year in the history. Similarly, Brazil, the forest areas of Brazil and South America have been witnessing worst drought conditions than ever reported in history. We have seen the Parana wildfire, which have been significantly increasing in the Amazon river basin. Similarly, in Siberia, numerous wildfires have been registered and nearly 1.5 million hectares of the land have been affected because of the wildfires. Yakutsk, which is the capital of the region of Yakutia, is the only city which is built on a permafrost. Now, permafrost is an area which we would understand again, which remains below 0 degrees Celsius for at least 2 consecutive years. Similarly, we have Henan province in China. Now, Henan province has been recording a cumulative average rainfall in just 5 days, which was very, very high, and therefore we have seen intense rainfall periods even in China. The hot temperature would increase in the next 10 years by 9.4 times, and the heavy precipitations would increase by nearly 2.7 times. A lot of people across the six African countries, mainly Ethiopia, Kenya, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan and Uganda, would be affected because of starvation, because of ethnic conflict. Similarly, if we focus on Northeast, 3/4 of its annual rainfall occurs during the monsoon season. During the monsoon season, we have seen 3/4 of the rainfall which was usually registered in Meghalaya, but over the years that has been decreasing. Only 2 of the states have seen an increase in the net rainfall in Northeast. Those are Sikkim and Mizoram. The rest, all 6 states, have been deficit states in the last 2 decades. Manipur has a significant rain deficit of nearly 59%. Meghalaya, Megh plus Ale, which is the adobe of clouds, has registered nearly a decline of 32% in the rainfall. The meteorological drought probability is around 54% in Northeast, which is much higher as compared to the remaining Western India, which is only 27%. Similarly, Karunpalli in Assam, which was one of the areas which was fertile land because of the floods in the river, is now turning into desert. The entire depositions in the flood prone area are now gradually turning into desert. The Golaghat district, where you have the Doyang river, which is a tributary to Brahmaputra, housing the Kaziranga National Park, is witnessing less than normal flow of rainfall. Doyang river is again an important source of livelihood to the people in Nagaland. The monsoon in Nagaland again affected, so only 68% of the annual rainfall was witnessed in Nagaland, and which has been nearly 25% lower in the last 3 decades. So a significantly less amount of rainfall even in the Nagaland has been witnessed. So Sikkim is one of the states that has been performing good. There has been an upward trend, specifically in the northern parts of Sikkim. In the Tista river, we have seen increasing amount of water. However, this has also led to rising amounts of landslides. Again, a matter of significant concern, and this landslide is affecting the South Sikkim area, mainly the region of Gangtok since 1997. Also, the rainfall in the monsoon months have been above normal. So, for the last 2 consecutive years, there had been a 22% and nearly 61% higher than normal rainfall which was witnessed. Now, Tripura is the only state in the northeast where all the districts have seen reduction in the overall rainfall which has been witnessed in this region. Similarly, we have the Runchun village in the Nagaland border, which is again home to numerous numerous hydroelectric power projects is again witnessing reduction in the rainfall. We have numerous mountain springs in the whole of the northeast, and many of them are drying up, specifically the mountain springs of the Kamring district in Arunachal Pradesh. So Arunachal Pradesh, again, a lot of drying up of the springs have been witnessed. This has been accumulated by the rising number of highway projects in those areas. In India, we have nearly 17,000 flowering plants, of which 5,000 are found only exclusively in northeast, and many of them are under stress. For example, the Bits kingfisher bird is found only at 15 places in Arunachal Pradesh, 13 places of which are in the Pake Kesang district. Now, this bird is now under the near threatened species of the IUCN classification. So, Pake Kesang is the area where the rainfall monitoring station was established, and during the floods of 2004, this Pake Kesang the rain monitoring station actually washed off, and so far IMD has not been able to install another rain monitoring station. So no monitoring of the rainfall is being seen in the Pake Kesang area of Arunachal Pradesh. So Pake Kesang district again witnessing because of the climate change. Now, what are the impacts we have seen? Definitely, the ice in the Greenland has been melting. The sea loss has been witnessed in Arctic, as we discussed. The boreal forest in Americas are dying off. Similarly, the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation (AMOC) is being slowed down. The permafrost is losing. We have seen ozone hole formation getting back to speed. Indian monsoon getting affected, the West African monsoon getting affected, impacts on Amazon rainforest, the ENSO impact has been changing. Now, if we focus on the coral reefs, there has been a significant death of the corals, and this has been registered as coral bleaching. This is due to rising salinity, rising temperature, and global warming, definitely. So NASA has developed a Sasan Sakshi system. Now this system is a technique through which we are able to track the tropical forest vulnerability index. Now this talks about the irreversible point or the tipping point that can be reached in the tropical forest, and once reached, the forest would die on themselves, so they would keep on decreasing at a regular pace. Now borals, the boreal part, the coniferous part, is one of the areas which has a very high proportion of carbon dioxide absorption capacity. So nearly 1/3 of the sink is seen in the boreal forest, and these boreal forests are dying significantly. NASA has launched another project which is known as ABOW, which is the Arctic Boreal Vulnerability Experiment. Now this focuses on the impact on the boreal forest, and in 2019 we have seen a significant increase in the wildfires in the boreal area. So carbon gain, carbon loss have been significantly affected. We call this as legacy carbon. Now legacy carbon, it is a layer of the organic matter in the soil which is protecting the oldest carbon. Now this protected form, the thickness of the organic layer has been rapidly changing, and we are seeing with the drying of the forest, this legacy carbon layer is significantly declining and reducing, so getting shallower day by day. Similarly, in the Greenland area, we have seen that the melting is increasing the amount of sea. So it is believed that 7 meters of sea level could rise if this whole of the Arctic ice gets melted. However, this would take nearly 1,000 years to finally get into action. In the last 30 years, the ice sheet has lost nearly 4,000 billion tons. So 4,000 billion tons has been lost in the ice sheet. The permanent snow cover, which is called as the permafrost, is that layer which is at or below 0 degrees Celsius for nearly 2 years or more, and this is being demarcated as the permafrost area. Now permafrost is mainly composed of the soil, the rock particles and the ice, and 20% of the total land area lies under permafrost. Now here again, permafrost is one of the major sunks for carbon emissions. Similar to the boreal forest, similar to the oceans, we have permafrost, which is again has a huge ability to absorb carbon. It has a capability to absorb nearly twice as much of the atmospheric carbon, and this would actually reduce the warming of the planet at a much faster rate. However, if this permafrost starts to melt, it would be a threat to the ecosystem and the climate as such. So we have seen that in 1979 nearly 40 gigatons of the Arctic loss was registered. However, in 2017 we have more than 250 gigatons of the loss which has been registered. Now this loss has been significant because the melting of the Arctic is an indicator of how fast the global warming is taking place. Now if we go into further details, we have seen that in 2019 General Assembly declared 2020-21-30 as a decade of ecosystem restoration, and that was with an idea to prevent, halt and to actually control the issues which have been registered for the ecosystem. Similarly, in 2020 major cooperations came up to come on an issue which was known as 1 trillion trees, and this was at Davos in Switzerland, that the idea to have plant 1 trillion trees by 2030 would be achieved. In 2021 we talked about protecting the global land, 30% of the global land and 30% of the oceans, in order to reverse the biodiversity. Also we have seen that there have been significant impact which has been registered through US under the LEAF program, which is the lowering emissions by accelerating the forest finance. So lowering emissions by accelerating forest finance is another initiative which is done by the US government in line with UK and Norway and various other multinational companies. Now the major global net sink of carbon, we can say, are the boreal forest, we have the temperate forest and tropics, which are again have a relatively lower proportion, but yes, are an important source. Now the extreme impacts have been registered across these parameters. So in the atmosphere we have seen that there have been significant changes cited in the north hemisphere. There is decreasing severity and snow events which are registered, higher amount of coral bleaching, we have seen higher heat waves, ecosystem functions have been impacted due to rising temperatures, numerous drought conditions have been registered, flooding conditions have been witnessed, we have numerous wildfires and increasing sunshine which is witnessed. So those are some of the extreme weather events which are registered here. The next is, besides the IPCC report and the climate, there have been another important issue, and that is regarding the India's water guzzling crops. So in the region of Indira Gandhi Canal, initially a lot of water guzzling crops were grown, that means water intensive crops. Now paddy was one of the crops. We are now moving towards growing more fruits and moving towards a nature-based solution in order to have a sustainable agriculture for future, and also to sequester carbon and carbon dioxide for long run in order to develop and build the livelihoods of the people in and around. There has been not a single cold month in the last 438 months which has been registered. The emissions of carbon dioxide, methane and nitrous oxide have reached their records at 2020. 2/5 of the population are witnessing the rising temperature of more than 1.5 degrees Celsius on a global basis. They are living in those areas which are being affected by rising temperature, and as we witness, this rising temperature would lead to intensification of rainfall. Also, the global temperature which was witnessed in 2021 in June itself was 5th highest in the last 142 years. We have seen extreme number of events which have been registered in July 2021, which have been highest ever since 2011. So there have been increasing amount of adverse and extreme events because of climate change, and therefore an immediate action needs to be taken into account. IPCC assessment and its impact on Asia we have covered in a separate lecture, so all those who are interested into that can refer that. And exam race is now part of the Google News as well, so you can follow exam race across various competitive dimensions on Google News as well. Wish you a very good luck. Have a wonderful day ahead.